When it comes to artists that I most admire and would want to emulate, the beginning and the end of that conversation is really one person. That artist is Bob Dylan. Now, Bob Dylan had a path of his own to get to where he was, and he had an artist of his own that he admired tremendously, and Dylanologists out there will know right away who that is. And his idol, when it came to the first songs that he wrote, was Woody Guthrie. And Woody Guthrie was an iconic folk singer. Woody didn't have the most angelic voice in the world, and neither does Mr. Dylan, but both are transcendent with their lyricism and with their songwriting ability. And that's what we're gonna try to do our best to emulate here in this video. I'm going to take a concept, a song of sorts, that I had written a number of years ago and attempt through using Suno to turn it into a really folkish, slight tinge of country ballad. So it is called Abraham, and it is an exploration of three different Abrahams through time, culture, folklore, and history. The Abraham of the Hebrew Bible, Abraham Lincoln, and Abraham Zapruder of the Zapruder film of the Kennedy assassination fame. All three of these figures are characters in this song, structured with three verses, a pre-chorus, a chorus, and then a brief little repeated outro. And I am very curious to see the take that Suno will have on the lyrical source material. So that is what we're gonna go with. There really isn't much of a prompt for Suno beyond the lyrics themselves, although I do want to make sure I get the style right. That is a concern of mine. I want it to be pretty sparse. Now, to this point, Suno has delivered pretty solidly across a wide variety of genres, from R&B slow ballads reminiscent of the 2000s. You've seen that if you've watched this channel. Disco, they handled tremendously. This Suno is tremendous with that. Did a great job with a pop song with an EDM component to it, and a pop punk anthem as well. So we have good experiences with Suno thus far. This is going to be kind of similar to what we did with the Leonard Cohen tribute song that I had written initially as a poem a number of years ago. That was pretty sparse and intimate, but it still had more going on musically than this track is intended to have. This track is intended to test the sparseness of Suno, given certain limitations. This is going to be a vocalist and their guitar, and I want it to be reminiscent of that 1940s to 1960s folk era. So this would be something you would have heard in New York City at one of those cafes for up-and-coming folk singers, just getting on a stage with their sixth string and letting the truth fall out. So we'll go in here into Suno, styles, folk. We're gonna say 60s folk, guitar, acoustic guitar only. Acoustic guitar and vocals. Mid-tempo, advanced options, male vocalist. Song title is Abraham. Exclude styles, pop. Pretty much everything. Pop, punk, rock. Put dusty sounding vocals and hope that Suno gets it. All right, we've got our advanced options in. We've got our vocal gender. We've got our title. We've got all of our lyrics here, our outro, chorus, pre-chorus. You know, I'm nervous about how it's going to do because I'm such a fan of Bob Dylan and Woody Guthrie. So fingers crossed this goes well here. We're going to hit create and see what we got. Let's give it a listen. Sounds kind of...
Abraham's ingenious plan simply was to give a damn. And when Jehovah cleared his throat, the man laid down his tattered coat, set blistered lips upon dust. The Lord would conjure floating through the sun-kissed nasal ways of Abraham's forefathers. Vibrant ashes, every star child would in turn respect the dust they
A
come
little bit
from.
of
Because they know the
got
dust.
a little bit of a call and
They will
response here,
return.
which I'm not a huge fan of.
Oh, I've been kicked around,
I like the kind of driving pace.
violated, burned alive, carbon dated, sifted through. But honey, I'm the heart of you. Trust in the plan, in Abraham. Choose to simply give a damn. Trust in the nostrils of the lambs. Trust in the dust, the great I
That
am.
ending, so
Trust
that
in a
chorus is
love
solid. I
you
do like
scarcely understand. Trust in the garden, in the tree. Trust in you, and trust in me. Well, Abraham of Holy Sands, statuesque Midwestern man, received the law from
Handled that
Sinai.
second verse
Same
pretty
one
well,
that
so-
once made Moses cry, reduced a trembling tribe to dust. So caught up in the cultist lust, and God above put mercy first. Somber address in Gettysburg, and all these stars of God have
That's
earned
better.
their birthright honor does return. Oh, I've been kicked around, tossed aside, violated, burnt alive, carbon dated, sifted through. But honey, I'm the heart of you. Trust in the plan, in Abraham. Choose to simply give a damn. Trust in the nostrils of the lamb. Trust in the dust, the great I am. Trust in the love you scarcely understand. Trust in the
I get the
garden, in the
harmonize.
tree.
This is
Trust
just a
in
song
you,
that could be played a number of different ways.
and trust in me. And Abraham amid the grass captures death as death rolls past. One hill sprints as for approach, the hill crest of the Holy Ghost. And Abraham is paid so well for frames that flicker flames from hell. My children, will you never learn? From dust you come, to dust you shall return. Oh, I've been kicked around,
not
tossed aside,
disputing that.
violated, burnt alive, carbon dated, sifted through. But honey, I'm the heart of you. Trust in the plan, in Abraham. Choose to simply give a damn. Trust in the nostrils of the lambs. Trust in the dust, the great I am. Trust in a love you scarcely understand. Trust in the garden, in the tree. Trust in
Gonna
you,
close out these last places.
and trust in me.
See, I would have
trust
ended
in
with the
you.
outro.
And trust in you.
Double outro. Extended outro. So, I gotta say, a little taken aback by the harmonizing vocals. There's not much of it, it's just a touch of it, but it takes away from some of the intimacy that I envisioned with the track being more in the vein of Woody Guthrie or Bob Dylan. This seemed to me more, gosh, I don't want to say Johnny Cash because it's not, it's a little upbeat to be Johnny Cash, but God, who am I thinking of that would have sung something to this effect? If you know who this sounds like in the comments, please leave a comment because I'm stumped right now. But yeah, the driving part of it was folky, which I appreciated. It went on a bit too long. I mean, that's a 4-minute, 21-second track, and I know that the Leonard Cohen track was over 5 minutes long, but that was warranted with that was a poem, a long poem that translated lyrically, and I thought that still worked. This one I didn't feel needed that extra long outro, so, I don't know. I did not have it on my bingo card that my little folk song lyrics about Abraham would be the the one to break the streak of Suno satisfaction. I will say, it's pretty hard to replicate the sound of a specific artist, even couple of artists. The fact that Suno gets so many eras and genres right is a testament to the technology and the tool itself. You're not going to hit a home run every time, especially if you have something specific in mind. I think if you are someone who produces music or even writes songs using like instruments directly, like if you have a guitar, an acoustic guitar, and that's how you write your song, Suno can help you in the sense that you can upload clips of certain sounds and it can help you work out a song from there. And that's what I probably should have tried to do with this. I'm just not adequate enough of a guitarist to be able to deliver that, I think, at this point. Having said that, I think that's the way to go with a concept like this. Like, you have song lyrics, like it's not a poem, it's not something you're chiseled in ChatGPT like we've been doing in these other videos, but if you have intentional song lyrics with like a certain sound in mind, run those sounds through Suno instead of just the lyrics. Otherwise, you end up in this situation where you're kind of frustrated. It's like, vocal harmony shouldn't be there. Maybe a harmonica will fix it. Oh, that harmonica doesn't sound like... Because that's the thing about harmonicas. They're like any other instrument. If the person playing it affects things greatly. Okay, Stevie Wonder's harmonica sound, I could pick out of a lineup. I could also pick out Bob Dylan's out of a lineup. And I could pick out Neil Young's out of a lineup. And I could pick out the one from the Roseanne theme out of a lineup, which I just did, because I'm pretty sure that's the harmonica sound used on this track here. But yeah, I think so. Suno, I feel, is programmed, and rightly so, to make the absolute most fitting and entertaining song at the same time out of what it is given. So it's going to replicate the sounds that you want, but it's also going to have it be sounding kind of like syrupy sweet and better than you intended in some circumstances. 90% of the time, that's great. I've been pleasantly surprised with all of the other tracks at how polished and put together they are. This one needs to not be that, though. That's a growth area, I think, for the technology, and I think that's a growth area for AI in the creative arts in general. There's going to be more respect and demand for, I don't want to say content, because that just diminishes in some ways, but there's going to be a demand for art of any sort that is unpolished because of how easy it's going to be to create things that are more polished. I created like a 12-second clip of an astronaut in a recliner on the moon and set it to the Introvert Anthem song that I did few videos ago, and it's really cool, and it's something that could not have been done even a few years ago. I would have never been able to do something like that using a combination of ChatGPT and Google Veo. So that's obviously super polished looking, right? It's like tracking dolly shots that I would not have been able to pull off under any circumstances. But that means that art that is on actual film, art that is on, old school video, VHS, things like that, really old cameras and lenses and formats, those are going to stand out, and I think those are going to gain a newfound appreciation and respect, as is this kind of thing. Like, Bob Dylan kind of brought that into the forefront because he came along at just the right time for the songs that he wrote to be part of a movement that was bigger than he was even. And he became the face of that movement, for better or for worse. But he was really inspired by what Woody Guthrie was able to do with music. I think he was drawn to how simple it was at first. It was just him and the guitar, and then he kind of branched out from there as he started bringing it all back home, and then particularly album in the back there, Highway 61 Revisited, which is my second favorite behind Blonde on Blonde, which is another continuation of that electric sort of sound. He was adding more colors to the canvas, so to speak. This is almost that in reverse. We have all the colors with these disco tracks, these R&B tracks, and now we're trying to scale it back and get to something that sounds really scratched and scrubbed and roughed up. We haven't quite gotten there with with the technology yet, so it's something that almost has to be done at the individual level. And, you know, maybe that's a distinguishing factor that's necessary between humans and AI. I still consider what we are doing in Suno to be highly creative and valuable work, and the amount of time it saves is just insane. But at the same time, you know, this Abraham song is more of a track that I would like put out there just to see what independent acoustic artists can do with it. And I think that's where it's more valuable, honestly. If you like what you're seeing, do hit that subscribe button, like this video, share as well. I'll be doing a bunch more artistic related things, creative work in Suno and other AI platforms as well. Thanks so much for watching.